Have you ever wondered if the world around us is really as stable as we think it is? The solid walls, the solid foundations, are they really solid or just an elaborate illusion of the mind? Let's put aside our familiar definitions of reality. What if everything we know is just a small part of an infinite field of possibilities? A place where death is not an end, but a gateway to different planes of reality. This is not an invitation to abandon your beliefs, but a challenge. Do you dare to look deeply into reality and question the obvious? 1. Quantum mechanics and consciousness. Imagine a world where the tiniest particles do not obey the familiar laws of physics. Quantum mechanics reveals that at the microscopic level, reality is not static, it is a flux of uncertainty and possibility. Quantum particles can appear, disappear, and change states simply by the act of observation. This leads to a surprising question: if our consciousness can influence these tiny particles, could it shape reality? Instead of accepting the limits of death or the immutability of life, science is starting to open another door. Consciousness is no longer just a byproduct of the brain, but could be the key to understanding how reality really works. 2. Pioneering thinkers and theorists. Many pioneering scientists have long questioned the role of the mind in shaping reality. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Roger Penrose, along with neuroscientist Stuart Hameroff, have developed the quantum theory of consciousness, which they argue is not just a product of electrical impulses in the brain but is linked to quantum processes that take place at the subatomic level, where all possibilities exist. These concepts seem to be not only innovations of modern science but also reflect ancient philosophies. Tibetan teachings, through texts such as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, have long asserted that the mind is far beyond the physical body. It is seen as an entity capable of moving, transforming, and even transcending the boundaries of death. As modern science and ancient wisdom intersect, they paint an increasingly clear picture of reality, where the mind is not just the observer, but also the creator. 3. Flexible realities and the role of observation. Is reality really a fixed stage where events occur independently of us? Quantum mechanics suggests that may not be the case. The observer effect, a phenomenon in which the results of experiments change depending on whether someone is watching, has shaken the very foundations of classical physics. Not only that, the concept of quantum entanglement suggests that particles can be connected in such a way that actions on one particle will instantly affect the other, regardless of distance. This interconnectedness suggests that reality is not isolated, but rather an interdependent web that can be shaped by the observer. Some scientists go further, suggesting that the universe is not made of matter or energy, but of information. If this is the case, everything we experience could be the result of a constant flow of information, shaped by the way we perceive and interact with the world around us. 4. Consciousness, the brain, and near-death experiences. For decades, neuroscientists have been trying to find the source of consciousness in the brain. However, they have repeatedly come up against a mystery: no part of the brain can be clearly identified as the production of consciousness. This has led to a bold hypothesis, that the brain is not the source of consciousness, but rather, like a radio, simply receiving and transmitting signals from a larger source. This theory is supported by research on near-death experiences. In cases where the body and brain are in a state of suspended animation, some people report vivid, clear experiences, from seeing bright lights, feeling peaceful, to observing their bodies from outside. These experiences raise the question: if consciousness can exist independently of the body, is it part of a larger reality that goes beyond the physical limits we know? 5. Connecting ideas and calls to doubt. What we have just explored is not only a scientific hypothesis, but also a reminder to reconsider familiar ideas. Is death really an end, or just a threshold to another state of existence? In Tibetan tradition, the Bardo state is described as a space between life and death, where the mind is no longer bound by the physical body, but is free to experience different planes of reality. This idea resonates not only with ancient philosophies but also with scientific discoveries about consciousness and dynamic reality. This is an invitation to question the obvious and explore the possibility that reality, death, and consciousness may be richer than we have ever believed. 6. Quantum mechanics, consciousness, and reality. Quantum mechanics has completely changed the way we understand reality. One of the most famous experiments that illustrates this is the Schrödinger's cat experiment. According to this theory, a cat in a sealed box cannot be determined to be dead or alive until we open the box and observe it. Before observation, the cat exists in a state of both alive and dead, a state called quantum superposition, where possibilities exist simultaneously. This is not just a theory, but a fact in the quantum world. Everything, from elementary particles to larger objects, can exist in multiple states at the same time, until we intervene and measure them. Reality, therefore, is not something fixed, but a field of possibilities, where everything is determined only by our observations. Quantum mechanics not only changes the way we perceive physics, but also opens up profound questions about the role of consciousness in creating the reality we experience. 7. Mind, reality, and the quantum connection. The mind is not just a response of the brain to the physical world, but may be a force that shapes the reality we experience. Some scientists and philosophers argue that the universe is not just composed of matter and energy, but may be joined and constituted by consciousness, an equally fundamental force. Reality, in this way, is not just a collection of solid objects, but a living network, where the mind may play a central role in creating and connecting everything. The concept of quantum interconnection is one of the key points in understanding the relationship between mind and the universe. In the quantum world, particles can be entangled with each other, meaning that a change in one particle can instantly affect another, no matter how far apart they are. This suggests that everything in the universe may be connected in ways we cannot yet fully understand, from elementary particles to higher levels of consciousness. Consciousness, perhaps, is not just a separate process in the brain, but may be part of a larger network that extends throughout the universe. Reality, then, is not just what we see, but a deeply interconnected system where mind and matter are intertwined in an invisible but powerful network. 8. Tibetan philosophy and quantum view. In Tibetan tradition, the concept of the bardo describes the transitional stages between birth and death, and it is not just a physical process, but a mental map of consciousness. The bardo is divided into 3 stages: life, death, and rebirth. In each stage, the mind not only reflects reality but also participates in creating it, transcending the limitations of the physical body and exploring different dimensions of existence. This has deep parallels with the ideas in quantum physics, where reality is not defined until there is an observer. Just as in the bardo, where consciousness can move through different states, in the quantum world, parallel possibilities exist until we intervene and make them clear through observation. In both systems, the observer is not just a witness, but also a creator of the surrounding reality. With the combination of Tibetan philosophy and quantum physics, we can perceive the universe as not a static entity, but a network of infinite possibilities, where consciousness plays a key role in shaping and understanding the world around us. 9. Practice and life application. If the ideas we have explored can change the way you perceive reality, then applying them to your daily life can bring about profound transformation. One of the most effective ways to begin is through meditation, a practice that helps you quiet your mind and connect deeply with the nature of reality. Meditation helps you realize that everything is impermanent, that life and death are just transitional states in an endless cycle. Compassion is also a powerful tool. When you practice compassion, you not only help others, but you also free yourself from the bonds of ego, opening your eyes to the interconnectedness of all of us. Paying attention to each moment, to each breath, will help you realize that everything changes, and that change creates life. Death, rather than being an end, can be a door to new possibilities. When you understand the impermanence of life, you live more fully, appreciating each moment and each experience. By incorporating these principles into your life, you not only change the way you view the world, but you also open a path to deeper harmony with yourself and the universe. The ideas we have explored are not just scientific theories or spiritual philosophies, but practical guidelines for changing the way you see and live in the world. When you begin to understand that reality is not fixed and that consciousness can shape the universe, you will realize that you are the creator of your reality. Practicing meditation, compassion, and mindfulness of impermanence will help you live a more meaningful life, more deeply connected to all that surrounds you. See death as a door to infinite possibilities, and live each moment to the fullest. Because, ultimately, reality is not something to be found, but something to be created, right from within your own mind.